Alright, good morning everybody. We're going to go learn few vocabulary words which you can use in your professional communication. You can however use it in your daily communication as well. So now we're going to learn 10 words and we'll learn their meaning and their usages with the sample examples. So the first word that we're going to learn is preliminary. Preliminary. So what does preliminary mean? So we need to understand this before we start using it. Preliminary means that something that coming or happening before something else. Now, something which is very important, right? We can say any action or event that is done or happened before and in any preparation for any other event, right? So preliminary, that means something which is required, something which is important, which is required to be done before anything else happen. कोई भी ऐसी चीज जो हमें पहले करनी जरूरी है किसी दूसरे एक्शन के होने से, तो that is we call as preliminary actions, something which is required before, right? So the examples, let's see one or two examples. We are getting some preliminary results from the research. इसका मतलब कि रिसर्च जो हम कर रहे हैं उसके कुछ प्रिलिमिनरी रिजल्ट्स वी हैव स्टार्ट गेटिंग. दैट मीन्स उसके कुछ रिजल्ट आने शुरू हुए हैं. ये अभी स्टार्टिंग के रिजल्ट्स हैं. मे बी वी कैन से द एक्सपेक्टेशन इज देयर विल बी मोर significant outcome is expected from this research. So we are getting some preliminary results. That means they are starting results, right? Something which is done or which is starting before any main event to happen. So that's where we can use preliminary, right? So preliminary, we are getting some preliminary results from the research. Another example, this is just a preliminary draft. That means you are, let's say you are asked to create something, right? And now you are creating a draft and you share it with your boss and you say, okay, before I finalize it, make a final draft, I'm sharing with you a preliminary draft. That means this is the beginning of what you're going to develop, what is going to come next. So it's a preliminary draft. Beginning का एक draft जो है you are giving. So you can use preliminary as preliminary action required before something happens. So preliminary draft, which is the initial draft you are creating or initial document you are submitting. Preliminary results, that means there's more to come. So preliminary. Second word we're going to use and learn is promising. Promising, showing signs of being very good or successful. हिंदी में हम बोल सकते हैं होनहार. Promising, होनहार. A promising young writer. He is young man with a promising future. इसका मतलब उसका एक होनहार इंसान है जिसका होनहार फ्यूचर आगे दिखता है. Another word is prominent. Prominent means main. Prominent means main. Key, major, prime, जो important है, महत्वपूर्ण है, right? So that is prominent. Important or famous, noticeable, right? A doctor who occupies a prominent position in the town. He placed the award prominently on the desk. So we can say prominent is which is important. एक डॉक्टर जो कि बहुत प्रसिद्ध हो चुका है, बहुत important है in the town, right? He placed the award prominently on the desk. एक अच्छे तरीके से सही जगह पर प्रोमिनेंट प्लेस पे प्रसिद्ध और एक प्रॉपर पोजीशन जो होगी अवार्ड की डेस्क पे उसने वहाँ रखा है. ही प्लेस द अवार्ड प्रोमिनेंटली ऑन हिज डेस्क. जहाँ पे वो सही लगेगा, प्रोमिनेंट होगा, अच्छा लगेगा, सही जगह पे दिखेगा, प्रसिद्ध, उसकी प्रसिद्धि दिखाई देगी. ही प्लेस द अवार्ड प्रोमिनेंटली ऑन हिज डेस्क. प्रोमिनेंट. द अनदर वर्ड इज propensity. This is one important word you can learn. Propensity. It's very professional word you can use when you say tendency, right? Tendency, a habit of behaving in a particular way, right? That's called tendency. So instead of you using this word tendency, you can use propensity. So propensity, a habit of behaving in a particular way, right? Somebody, let's say, वो तो ऐसे ही behave करता है. That's his propensity. वो ऐसे ही behave करता है. He behaves angrily, right? So he has a propensity of getting anger. He showed propensity for violence. That means वो बड़ी जल्दी लड़ाई करने लग जाता है, वायलेंस करता है, टेंडेंसी है ये उसकी. He showed a propensity for violence. She has a propensity to exaggerate. अगर exaggerate means बड़ा चढ़ाकर बोलना, ज़्यादा करना. तो कोई भी इंसान किसी चीज़ को ज़्यादा बोलता है और उसकी आदत सी बन गई है, ये उसकी टेंडेंसी है. Then what you can say? Instead of using tendency, you can use this word propensity. She has a propensity to exaggerate, right? So this is propensity is one word. Fifth word we're gonna use now is conundrum. Now what is this conundrum? Conundrum means a confusing or a difficult problem or question. एक puzzle होती है, वो conundrum हो सकती है. एक जो problem जो बहुत difficult है, उसको हम conundrum बोल सकते हैं. For example, the bank does not appear to be anywhere close to finding the answer to the conundrum. That means बैंक में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, कोई इशू है और उसको प्रॉब्लम को फाइंड करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट है. Then what we can say is the bank does not appear to be anywhere close to finding the answer to that conundrum. नज़दीक आसपास भी नहीं है उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने के लिए बैंक, right? So conundrum, a problem, maintaining positivity in the face of a defeat is a great coaching conundrum. That means if it is very difficult to teach somebody to maintain positivity when you are getting defeated. So most of the coach has this conundrum. They face this conundrum. ये एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है जिसका कोचेस को सामना करना पड़ता है. It's a conundrum. It's a problem, right? Maintaining positivity or positive on the face, right? In another defeat is a great coaching conundrum. Another word is concede. स्वीकार कर लेना. To admit something. Though you do not want to. That's called concede. हम चाहते नहीं है किसी चीज को मानना, बट मजबूरी है, आप कुछ कर नहीं सकते तो मान लेते हैं. तो you are accepting it. Accepting is maybe you accepting with wish, with will. But concede means now you have no other option. So you kind of admitting yourself, okay, I agree. But you don't want to. So in that scenario, to admit that something is true, although you do not want to. Okay, so that's concede. When it was clear, let's see the example. When it was clear that he would lose the election, he conceded defeat. That means somebody who wanted to win now still wants to win, right? But is losing elections, has no other option to accept. But is he accepting with will or wish? No. He doesn't want to, but now he has to accept it. So he conceded defeat. After a long debate, she finally conceded that she had misunderstood the problem. That means if there was somebody who basically said she is right all the time, there is no such problem, right? Or she understood the problem right and gave a right solution, but people are discussing, brainstorming and arguing with her that, okay, this is something you did wrong. And she had no other option when she had to finally accept, but she did not want to. And she said, okay, she considered that she has misunderstood the problem. So that's how you can use, right? After a long debate, she finally conceded that she had misunderstood the problem. Okay, that's concede. Another word is culminate. What is culminate? Culminate is you can use when you are reaching to a final result, outcome, right? जब भी किसी outcome और परिणाम और नतीजे के बारे में बात करते हैं, we can say culminate. So for example, my arguments with the boss got worse and finally culminated in my resignation. So culminated is end result, the final outcome, right? So what we said in this sentence, my arguments with the boss got worse and finally culminated in my resignation. मेरा जो argument था वो बढ़ता ही चला गया, बेकार होता चला गया और finally मुझे resignation डालना पड़ा. That resulted at the end with my resignation. So finally culminated in my resignation and result, right? Now another example. The team's effort culminated in victory in the championship. That means the team का जो effort था उसका outcome क्या है, result क्या है? Championship. The team efforts culminated means end results, produced the end results. The team's effort culminated in victory in the championship. Now that's culminated. You can use culminated whenever you want to talk about the end results, the final results. Strenuous. Strenuous means needing or using a lot of effort, right? Hard work, the energy that you put in, that is a strenuous effort. Strenuous exercise, right? जिसमें ऐसी एक्सरसाइज में बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़े, बहुत हार्ड वर्क करना पड़े. Strenuous efforts had been made to improve conditions in the jail, right? So जेल की conditions जो थी वो worse थी, उनको सुधारने के लिए बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ी, बहुत सारा efforts लगाना पड़ा. That's where strenuous efforts had been made to improve conditions in the jail. Another word is cultivate. Cultivate, to prepare and use the land for growing plants, for food or to sell. So we can use cultivate in two senses. When we want to grow crops, right, then we have to cultivate. That's one use of cultivate. Another use of cultivate is develop, evolve, right? That means विकसित करना, develop करना खुद को, right? अपने आप को, अपने अंदर आदतों को. So there you can use cultivate. He has carefully cultivated his image. That means उसने अपनी इमेज को बहुत ही समझदारी के साथ डेवलप किया है. He has carefully cultivated his image. Cultivated, right? Here we are using cultivate as developing our image. So he has carefully cultivated his image. Another example is, it is important to cultivate good study habits to succeed academically, right? So for a student, it is important and imperative for someone to cultivate habits, develop habits, which can help him succeed in his academics. So it is important to cultivate good habits to succeed academically, right? So cultivate. Other word is perusal, reading or examining of something. That means, let's say you have a report created, right? And you want to submit it to your senior folks to go through it, to understand, to read it, and then maybe give you final feedback. So you are asking for somebody to examine that report, to read that report, examine that report. In that context, we can use perusal. Perusal, okay? So in Hindi, you can also understand adhyan or avlokan, perusal, right? The report was published after careful perusal. That means एक report जो publish हुई है वो बहुत ज़्यादा अध्ययन के बाद और विश्लेषण के बाद, देखने के बाद ही उस report को publish किया गया है. The report was published after careful perusal. So that is the use of perusal. Now I hope you enjoyed all these words and you can start learning them. You can go back and re-listen to them so that you can develop the vocabulary, you can understand it better. And while you go back again, try to understand the meaning. Also try to speak the words, the sentences along with me. That way you will understand the word better and you will register in your mind, so that next time whenever the opportunity comes to use these words, you will be able to use them. I hope you enjoyed these words. You can learn them, and I will come back with new professional words which will help you improve your professional vocabulary that you can use any place, anywhere. Until then, keep learning. Have a nice day ahead.